Hare Krishna. Anybody would like to do small kirtan for some time till the time devotees can join? Just 2-3 minutes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandot pranam. Yes, Mataji.
I want to sing.
Yeah, please sing. I will tell you when you can. Then you can stop because we will just wait for a few minutes for the devotees to join. Okay. Yes, Mataji, you can start now. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Oh, Hari Bol Prabhuji.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Dandot pranam. Thank you so much, Mataji, for singing beautiful kirtan. So I think let us begin now because already we are past 7 minutes from the normal time. So let us begin now with Mangalacharan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadadi Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadudam Parijana Sahidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpade Gopesha Gopiga Kanda Radha Kanda Namostude तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुदे देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimade Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayade Girim Yat Kripatamaham Mande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyameshwaram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhigaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I would like to welcome all of you for our study of Srimad Bhagavatam. Very happy to see all of you once again after 2 weeks. So, so we are studying the important pastimes from Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Very beautiful pastimes we have already seen. We have already studied right from Ajamil story. Then now we are doing with Vritrasura's history, right? Very beautiful praise of Vritrasura we have discussed a few weeks back. Now we are seeing the history, or we are seeing the previous birth of Vritrasura, like who was he before and how he got the body of a demon. This is the theme of discussion what we are having since a few weeks, right? How Vritrasura, how Indra is doing, not Indra, sorry, Chitraketu Maharaj is lamenting, and then Narada Muni and Angira Muni is instructing Chitraketu Maharaj, isn't it? We have seen all this. Then Chitraketu Maharaj is meeting the Supreme Lord. He is meeting the Supreme Lord himself, and this is what we had discussed in the last classes. Now today we will be starting a new chapter. The next chapter will be chapter number 17, wherein Mother Parvati is cursing Chitraketu. Now, how Chitraketu Maharaj got the body of a demon, that we will see. Because we have seen that, understood that he got the body of a demon because of a curse, right? And now we will see who had cursed him, who cursed him, and how he got that body. What was the reason of the curse? What Chitraketu Maharaj did? So all these things we will be seeing in this particular chapter. Okay, so let us begin our journey. I will share you the screen as usual. So one by one we can, all of you can recite the verses. Then I think we have to cover 9 verses today, verse number 1 to 9. So we will see as per the time we can read the verse and the purport. Sorry, translation, and if we have time we will read the purport also. Purports are not big, so I think we can read the purports also. Alright? Yes. So now, as usual, I would request who would like to recite the verse, please raise your hands, and one by one we can go ahead. Now Kishore Mataji, please go ahead and recite this verse. Shri Shuka Vacha.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Text 1. Shri Shuka Vacha Yata Chashvata Yata शांत हीर्तो नन्तस्स्य ये कृत्वा दिशे नमः विद्याधर चित्रकेतु अश्चार गगने चरः. Hare Krishna,
Translation.
Prabhuji. Did I
Please
recite?
read.
Is it
Sorry?
okay? Did
You
I
want to
recite?
recite one more time? You won't like to try, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, if you can recite, and I will recite behind you.
श्रीशुक उवाच
After him.
यदश्चान्तार्हितोऽनन्तस्तस्यै कृत्वा दिशे नमः विद्याधरश्चित्रकेतुश्चाचरा गगने चरः.
श्रीशुक उवाच यतश्चान्तहितो अनन्तस्य कृत्वा दिशे नमः विद्याधरश्चित्रकेतु अश्चचार गगने चरः.
Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Translation.
Translation.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Sukadeva Goswami said, after offering obeisances to the direction from which Ananta, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, had disappeared, Chitraketu began traveling in outer space as the head of the Vidyadhara. Hare Krishna,
Thank you.
Prabhuji,
Hare
Dandavat.
Krishna. Thank you, Mata. So, we know the theme of discussion. In the last class, you have seen, how Chitraketu Maharaj met, the meeting of Chitraketu Maharaj with the Supreme Lord. Which form of Supreme Lord? Ananta, right? Ananta. Sankarshan or Ananta. So, now Srila Sukadeva Goswami is telling Parishit Maharaj that after offering obeisances to that direction where Lord Ananta was there, disappeared now. He is not now. He is not there now. He disappeared, but still he is offering obeisances to in that direction, as a respect to the Supreme Lord of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then Chitraketu Maharaj is going to travel. He is now traveling in the outer space. He is the head of Vidyadharas, right? So he is a great king, and he had a very beautiful air carrier also. We cannot even imagine, we cannot even think of such kind of flight, divine, what to say, the demigods have all these different varieties of spaceships. So Chitraketu Maharaj also had such a spaceship, so he was traveling in the outer space. So that is the scene now. So we will see what is going to happen next. Okay. Yeah. So next verse will be recited by Krishnamurti Prabhu. 2 and 3. Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu. Ji, yeah.
1 second, Prabhuji.
We cannot hear you, Prabhuji. Can you little bit make
Prabhuji.
now it's clear. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
स लक्षं वर्षलक्ष्मणम् अव्ययाहत बलेन्द्रियः स्तुत्यमानो महायोगी मुनिभिः सिद्धचरितानि Am I right, Prabhuji?
Charane.
चारणे कुलचलेन्द्रद्रोणिषो नानासङ्कल्पसिद्धिषो रेमे विद्याधरास्त्रिभिर्गापयन् हरिम् ईश्वरम्.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Translation. Yeah, you
Translation.
can.
Okay, Prabhuji. Translation by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Being praised by great sages and saints and by the inhabitants of Siddhaloka and Charanaloka, Chitraketu, the most powerful mystic yogi, wandered about enjoying life for millions of years. With bodily strength and senses free from deterioration, he traveled within the valleys of Sumeru mountain, which is the place of perfection for various kinds of mystic power. In those valleys, he enjoyed life with the woman of Vidyadhara Loka
Yeah,
by
Loka.
Loka by chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord Hari. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
You can read the purport also, small purport.
Purport A.C. Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada ki. It is to be understood that Maharaja Chitraketu, although surrendered by beautiful women from Vidyadhara Loka, did not forget to glorify the Lord by chanting the holy name of the Lord. It has been proved in many places that one who is not contaminated by any material condition, who is a pure devotee engaged in chanting the glories of the Lord, should be understood to be perfect. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Krishnamurti Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So in the translation, our Srila Prabhupada says, so now Chitraketu Maharaj is flying in the airship. He is flying in the outer space. So very beautiful purports and translation has been given by our beloved founder Acharya, Om Vishnupada, Paramahamsa Parivarjakacharya Stotra Shada. His Divine Grace Sri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So in the translation, Srila Prabhupada says, being praised by great sages and saints, and by the inhabitants of Siddhaloka and Charanaloka, Chitraketu, the most powerful mystic yogi, wandered about enjoying life for millions of years. So Chitraketu Maharaj is being praised by great sages and saints. Chitraketu Maharaj was not an ordinary person. He was a great devotee actually. So he had a great, he was being respected by many great saints and the inhabitants of Siddhaloka, Charanaloka. All of them, all of them are, praising Chitraketu Maharaj for his wonderful activities. So now he is wandering. He is, wandering about enjoying life for millions of years. So many years he is enjoying who? Chitraketu Maharaj. Because he is having that divine demigod body, right? So he is enjoying that. So with bodily strength and senses free from deterioration. We need to understand that a demigod, the lifespan is very high, not like us. We have very short lifespan, isn't it? But demigods' bodies are not like that. They have got a a bigger lifespan. Not only that, they don't have old age or diseases like us. They will also die. That is true. They will also have an end of the life. But still, it's not like like what we are facing. Like so many diseases we have, right? So coronavirus, that virus, this virus, so many diseases we are having, or we are prone to get, isn't it? Then we are getting old also, isn't it, in this world? So here we are getting old also. So this is not that prominent, that this is not there in the Sorgaloka or in higher planetary system. So that's why here in the translation we can see, with bodily strength and senses free from deterioration, that there is strength, bodily strength and senses are very strong also, even after many millions of years. So he is traveling in the valleys of Sumeru mountain, and and he is enjoying with Vidyadhara, women of Vidyadhara Loka. But one important point is mentioned here. How? What is that? Even though he is, Srila Prabhupada also says in the purport, he is chanting the holy name of the Lord Hari. Even though he is enjoying his life, he is enjoying his life, but he has not forgotten the holy names of Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport also, it is to be understood that Maharaj Chitraketu, although surrounded by beautiful women from Vidyadhara Loka, did not forget to glorify the Lord. See, so this is the nature of a devotee. We even enjoying with the women, we should not take it in a wrong way, because he is having that kind of facilities. He is born as with that particular loga. So that loga is supposed to be there. Why he is there? Because that is the place where there is sense enjoyment. So we cannot say that they are doing wrong. So it's not. We cannot compare with we cannot compare with somebody who is enjoying with a women in this particular world. We cannot never compare, because these worlds are meant for enjoyment. That is the purpose of the Swargalokas, or the higher planetary system. They are having great enjoyments, sense enjoyments we can have there. So this is not wrong actually from their perspective. From our perspective, in the sense, if we are doing it here in this world where we are now, it might be wrong. It is not as per the culture, right? But in the higher planetary system, it is not like that. So it is. We should not think that he's doing a wrong thing. But at the same time, we need to understand. So the level of enjoyment is very very high in those planets, in those planetary systems. But still, we need to understand Maharaj Chitraketu, he did not forget the Supreme Lord, even though he is enjoying his senses. See, he is chanting the holy names, he is chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord Hari. So that is the nature of a devotee. Even though what we can understand from this, even though externally we may think that the devotee is doing some materialistic activities, but internally we don't know. Nobody knows what is the heart of a devotee. So externally we may think that he is just like an ordinary karmi, who is enjoying the senses. But we should understand that we can never understand the heart of a devotee. So maybe that he might be in the heart, he will be a pure devotee, but externally we may think that he's not a devotee also. Sometimes we feel, or sometimes we think that why those devotees are doing like this. But we should understand that we cannot, that's what, so we cannot judge anybody externally. This is the point what we can learn from this. So whatever we are reading in Srimad Bhagavatam, dear devotees, we should try to find some lessons from that, and those lessons should be it's why those lessons are there. Those lessons are there for all of us to do chintan. We have to do manan. Then we should see what we can learn from this and what I can implement in my life. So this is the point we can learn from this particular section. We can think that external bodily features or externally we cannot judge any devotee. Devotee can be judged only by seeing his heart. So we can never judge. So if we judge, what will happen? We may end up in doing aparadh. We may end up in doing aparadh. So always we should think that we are the most lowest among all the devotees. We do not have any qualification. This should be our mood. Everybody is better than me. This should be our mood always. If we are in that mood, as Srila Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj always says, if we see the list of the disciple, my Guru Maharaj, he says, if we take that list of devotees, I will be the last person. He says like that. So we all should think in that way. I am the last person. I am the most unqualified person. So if we think that in that way, we will have that humility. Then we will not be in a position, or we will not be tempted to do any aparadh. We will not blame or we will not criticize anybody. Thinking that why we are criticizing, why we are finding faults in others, because we think that I am better than them. False ego. But we are not better than anybody. We are the most insignificant people. This is how we should train ourselves. Then only we can progress in spiritual life. Otherwise, false pride will come and conquer us. False pride will be there. We will end up in doing so many Vaishnava aparadh by criticizing others, finding faults in others. So we will fall down from this path. So we have to be careful. So external bodily feature, externally we cannot judge a devotee. Internally only we can understand a devotee. This is what we can learn from here. So Sri Chitraketu Maharaj, even though he is enjoying his senses, he has never forgotten the Supreme Lord. He is always chanting the holy names. That's what the sloka says. Srila Sukadeva Goswami says. Right? Let's go to the next verses, 4 and 5. Sudha Mataji, please. Hare Krishna Mata.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Sudha Mata. Sudha Mata, you are there? You had raised
Hare
your hand.
Am I audible?
Now yes, please.
एकदा स विमानेन विष्णुदत्तेन भास्वता गिरीशं तत्रशे गच्छन् परितं सिद्धचारणैः कृतां देवीं बाहुना मुनिसंसदि उवाच देव्या शृण्वन्त्या जहाशोचैस्तदन्तिके.
Translation, please.
Translation by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. One time while King Chitraketu was traveling in outer space on a brilliantly effulgent airplane given to him by Lord Vishnu, he saw Lord Shiva surrounded by Siddhas and Charanas. Lord Shiva was sitting in an assembly of great saintly persons and embracing Parvati on his lap with his arm. Chitraketu laughed loudly and spoke within the hearing of Parvati. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura says in this connection, Bhaktim Bhotim Hare Dattva Swavichedanubhutaye Devya Shapena Vrittatvam Nritvatam Swantike. The purport is that the Supreme Personality of Godhead wanted to bring Chitraketu to Vaikuntha Loka as soon as possible. The Lord's plan was that Chitraketu be cursed by Parvati to become Vrittasura so that in his next life he could quickly return home back to Godhead. There have been many instances in which a devotee, acting as a demon, has been brought to the kingdom of God by the mercy of the Lord. For Parvati to be embraced by Lord Shiva was natural in a relationship between husband and wife. This was nothing extraordinary for Chitraketu to see. Nonetheless, Chitraketu laughed loudly to see Lord Shiva in that situation, even though he should not have done so. Thus, he was eventually cursed, and this curse was the cause of his returning home back to Godhead. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Thank you. Very beautiful purport by our Srila Prabhupada. So, what in the translation we can see now, the Chitraketu Maharaj is flying in the outer space in a very beautiful airplane, very effulgent airplane, and this has been awarded by whom? Supreme Lord Vishnu himself. So he is flying in a plane which was gifted by Lord Vishnu, and he saw Lord Shiva. He saw Lord Shiva sitting in the assembly of Siddhas and Charanas in the Kailash. Siddhas and Charanas are listening to Bhagavatam from Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva is speaking or glorifying the Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of the Godhead, his Ishtadev, Lord Vishnu, Krishna. He was glorifying the Supreme Lord, and Lord Shiva was sitting there, and he was actually, Mother Parvati was also sitting on the lap of Lord Shiva. And he is embracing her, but he is speaking Harikatha. So seeing this scene, seeing this, Chitraketu Maharaj laughed. He laughed loudly, and he spoke something. So, but this was heard by Mother Parvati. Everybody heard. Siddhas, Charanas, who were in the assembly, all of them heard what Chitraketu Maharaj was telling, and Lord Shiva also heard. Mother Parvati also heard. So we will see what will be the next reaction for this. But in the purport, beautiful purport, small purport, but very beautiful, Srila Prabhupada ji has given us. See, he has given the tika of Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura, one of our great acharya in our parampara, Gaudiya Vaishnava parampara, Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura. So in his tika, in his commentary to this section of the Bhagavatam, he has given a beautiful verse wherein he says that the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, Lord Krishna, wanted Chitraketu to come to Vaikunta as soon as possible. As early as possible, finish off the things in the material world and come back to Vaikunta. Because of that, because Lord wanted to take Chitraketu Maharaj as soon as possible or as fast as possible, and for that Lord planned this cursing actually. Now Mother Parvati will curse Chitraketu Maharaj. We will see in the next verses. But Srila Prabhupada has already given that hint here. Mother Parvati is going to curse Chitraketu Maharaj because he made fun of Shiva. Lord Shiva was like a very dear friend for Chitraketu Maharaj. So Lord Shiva did not take it as a offense, but Mother Parvati took it as an offense when he laughed. So we will see that in the next verse. But here again, Srila Prabhupada has he has already given the answer for this. Why the curse was given by Mother Parvati? It was the arrangement of the Supreme Lord. It was Lord's plan. What was Lord's plan? Lord wanted Chitraketu Maharaj to be in his with him in the Vaikunthas, and that made, and Mother Parvati became an instrument for that. And because of the curse by Mother Parvati, Chitraketu Maharaj becomes Vritrasura in the next life. And from that life, when Vritrasura is dying, he is directly going to the Supreme Lord. He is directly going back to the Godhead from Vritrasura's body. So means he took only one birth. But that birth was in a demoniac body, not an ordinary person's body. So here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, hugging or embracing embrace of Lord Shiva is not. It's very natural. They are husband and wife, and Charanas and Siddhas, they are sitting in the assembly. They did not feel anything offended also. Mother Parvati is, because Lord Shiva is speaking Harikatha. And Charanas and Siddhas, everybody is listening Harikatha from the topmost Vaishnavanam Yada Shambhu. But Mother Parvati took it as a curse. Took it as an offense, and she will curse. So we should understand, dear devotees, Mother Parvati, as Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura says, that was Lord's plan. Lord wanted him to be back very fast. So this is the mercy of the Lord, dear devotees. Sometimes Lord Krishna will take away all our possessions. We may become akinchan, we may become pauper. One sudden morning, maybe we are having good wealth, we are having a very good life, but like a jhadka, like a thunderbolt, we may get, sometimes we may lose everything. All our possessions will be lost in a single day sometimes. Or we may get a very critical disease in our life. We should not be astonished by all these things. We should not think that Krishna is punishing us in this way. Actually, Krishna is not punishing. Krishna will shower his causeless mercy more and more and more on those devotees he loves most. And these kind of highest the highest kind of benediction is that taking away all the possessions, or taking away all the material attachments from him, from us, because we are having so many attachments in this world. We are attached to our family, we are attached to our friends, we are attached to our job, we are attached to our country, our place, we are attached to money, our house, a car, everything. We are attached to each and everything of this world. So Krishna may sometimes, if his mercy is more, if he loves his devotee more, to that particular devotee, he may take away everything in one single fraction of a second. So we should not be astonished with that. Actually, that is a mercy. That is the highest mercy. That's like that. Now Chitraketu Maharaj got that kind of mercy, the highest mercy. Otherwise, Chitraketu Maharaj, to perfect his life, he should have taken, or he could have taken more and more lifetimes to perfect his life, to become a since to become a pure devotee who can become eligible to go back to Godhead. Of course, Chitraketu Maharaj is a pure devotee, no doubt, but it would have taken more lifetimes for him to get that eligibility to enter into the spiritual world. But he could, he could do that in a very single life. In the next life itself, he got. But even though he had to go through a demoniac body, he had to take a demoniac body. It was not an ordinary human being. He was not a demigod. He was not a Vidyadhara. He was not a Charana. He took the body of an Asura. That was very powerful, very, very dangerous Asura. Vritrasura. But Vritrasura is a pure devotee. Vritrasura Maharaj, we always call him like that. Vritrasura Maharaj is a great devotee. So, with that demoniac body, he could go back to Godhead. That was his last life in this material world. So, it's a blessing for him. Similarly, we can see in the pastime of Gajendra. Indradyumna Maharaj, he was a great yogi. He has left his kingdom, everything, his possessions, queens, his money, everything he left, and he went to forest and he started doing meditation. He was a great yogi. He was doing dhyana yoga. So when he was doing meditation, he was in samadhi. During that time, one day, Agastya Muni came to his hermitage where he was doing tapasya. Agastya Muni came and he was in meditation. Indradyumna Maharaj was in deep meditation. He did not see, he did not understand that somebody has come there. So because of that, Agastya Muni got offended. He said, you are such a dull person. You are a person with dull head. Your intelligence is dull. That is why you are not, giving the respects to your guest who has come to your hermitage. He cursed like that. So what happened to Indradyumna Maharaj? He became, because the curse was that in the next life you will become a dull-headed elephant. Because now you are behaving like a dull-headed man, so in the next life may you become a dull-headed animal. May you get the body of an elephant. Then he got a body of an elephant and he became Gajendra in the next life. So Srila Radhana Swami Maharaj, in one of his katha, he says same point what we have just discussed. Maharaj said that was the mercy of Indradyumna Maharaj, because Indradyumna Maharaj said Indradyumna Maharaj was a Paramatmavadi, Paramatma yogi. He was meditating on the Paramatma. And or he would have taken lifetimes or many lifetimes to come to that Bhakti Yoga, the actual Bhakti Yoga, the pure devotional service. But because of the mercy of Agastya Muni, he got a curse. And because of that curse, he took the body of an elephant. And an elephant, we know Gajendra's story, how he had struggled with the crocodile. And finally, in the last moment, Gajendra was losing his life. He understood, I am going to die now. So in the last moment, by the mercy of Krishna, he remembered who was he in the previous life. Because he has done very good, very deep meditation, very deep dhyan in the previous life as Indradyumna Maharaj. Krishna reminded him, because Paramatma is there in the heart of Gajendra also. He reminded him, and Gajendra in the same moment he got an lotus from that water body and he offered to Krishna with beautiful prayers. Lord Hari came within a fraction of a second and saved Gajendra. Not only that, he took him back to Godhead. So Indradyumna Maharaj also he could also go back to Godhead within one lifetime because of the mercy of Agastya Muni, because of the mercy of Lord Krishna. Same like here also Chitraketu Maharaj, as Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura says, he would have taken more lifetimes, but because of the mercy of the Lord, he got a curse, and because of this curse, he could go back to God in the very one in the next life itself. So this is the mercy. So we need to understand in our life also, sometimes such kind of mercies come, we should not be bewildered. We should think that we should always consider to be the mercy of the Supreme Lord, and we should be mature enough. That is why, dear devotees, we have these stories in Srimad Bhagavatam for all of us to understand what is life. So when some problems comes in our life, do not blame on the Supreme Lord. Do not blame or think that Krishna is doing a wrong thing on us. Actually, Krishna is giving an opportunity for us to think about Krishna, to surrender to Him. So the problems are actually mercy for us, because we will remember Krishna with these problems. Right? So problems are always mercy. We should train ourselves to understand this. That is why we have all these stories in Srimad Bhagavatam, how the devotees have tolerated the problems and how they got Krishna. Right? Yeah, let's see the next verse. Yes, who will recite? Divya Mataji, please go ahead.
चित्रकेतुर्वाच एष लोकः गुरुः साक्षात् धर्मां वक्ता शरीरिणाम् आस्ते मुख्य सभायां वै मिथुनी भूय भार्यया. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Chitraketu said, Lord Shiva, the spiritual master of the general populace, is the best of all living entities who have accepted material bodies. He enunciates the system of religion, yet how wonderful is that he is embracing his wife Parvati in the midst of an assembly of great saintly persons. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mata. So Chitraketu Maharaj said to Lord Shiva, "Oh Lord Shiva, you are the spiritual master of all. You are a great devotee. You are the best of all living entities, and you are the master of the religion. But I'm so astonished. It is so wonderful to see you are embracing your wife in the midst of these great personalities." He was in a wonder. He actually was thinking he had some asteria to see this. He was actually not blaming or not criticizing Lord Shiva, but in a very jovial mode he said, "Oh, what wonder is this?" Like that, he got that asteria, like that. So we will see the next verse, the continuation of that. Would request Padma Mataji, can you please recite?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम.
Dandavad pranam.
जटातरस्तीव्रतप ब्रह्मवादी सभापति अंगीकृत्य श्रियं चास्ते गत श्री प्राकृतो यथा. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Shiva, whose hair is matted on his head, has certainly undergone great austerities and penances. Indeed, he is the president in the assembly of strict followers of Vedic principles. Nonetheless, he is seated with his wife on his lap in the midst of saintly persons and is embracing her as if he were a shameless, ordinary human being.
Purport also.
Okay. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Chitraketu appreciated the exalted position of Lord Shiva, and therefore he remarked at how wonderful it was that Lord Shiva was acting like an ordinary human being. He appreciated Lord Shiva's position, but when he saw Lord Shiva sitting in the midst of saintly persons and acting like a shameless, ordinary man, he was astonished. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura remarks that although Chitraketu criticized Lord Shiva, he did not offend Lord Shiva like Daksha. Daksha considered Lord Shiva insignificant, but Chitraketu expressed his wonder at Lord Shiva's being situated in that way. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mata. So here continues. Srila Sukadeva Goswami says, Lord Shiva, whose hair is matted on his head, So, Lord Shiva is having a matted hair because he is the greatest yogi, right? And who has undergone many great austerities and penances, and is the president in the assembly of strict followers of Vedic principle, because he was a pakka, he was the topmost Vaishnav. Nonetheless, he is seated with his wife on his lap in the midst of saintly persons, embracing her as if he were shameless, he was like an ordinary human being. So this is the continuation of the previous verse. Now in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying that Chitraketu actually he glorified Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva is a great personality. Chitraketu Maharaj knew that he is such a great Vaishnava. So he was not actually criticizing, or he was not actually making fun of Lord Shiva. He did not actually offend Lord Shiva, like Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in the commentary that he did not offend Lord Shiva like Daksha. Daksha had offended Lord Shiva. We know that Daksha in the fourth canto, that Daksha is offending Lord Shiva, even though he was father-in-law. But here it's not like that. He did not actually offend Lord Shiva. He was actually wondered. He expressed his wonder actually, because he was considering him as a friend. So like a friendly way, he said, he commented, not in a offensive way. No, that is the reason Lord Shiva did not take it as an offense, because it was in a friendly, jovial way. He had presented that. We will see in the next verse also. Okay, so like that. Yeah, I would request Divya Mataji, please, 8th verse. Okay. Prashanti Mataji, can you recite then?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Prayasha prakritascha taschapi striyam rahasi vibrati ayam mahavrato dharo vivarti sadasi striyam. Translation by Prabhupada ki jai. Ordinary conditioned persons generally embrace their wives and enjoy their company in solitary places. How wonderful it is that Lord Mahadeva, although a great master of austerity, is embracing his wife openly in the midst of an assembly of great saints. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The word Mahavrata Dharaha indicates a brahmachari who has never fallen down. Lord Shiva is counted among the best yogis, yet he embraced his wife in the midst of great saintly persons. Chitraketu appreciated how great Lord Shiva was to be unaffected even in that situation. Therefore, Chitraketu was not an offender. He merely expressed his wonder. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna. Thank you, Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna. So here it's very more clear now. Srila Prabhupada is saying. So in the translation we can see that continuation of the previous verse. Ordinary conditioned person generally embrace their wife, right? But in the solitary place, not publicly normally, right? And now Chitraketu Maharaj is in wonder. He is thinking, how wonderful is that Lord Mahadev can do this. But because he is a great master of austerity, he is such an exalted devotee, he is the topmost Vaishnav, but still he is embracing his wife openly in the public, like that. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is very clearly telling this, that Chitraketu Maharaj appreciated Lord Shiva very much. We have seen that he glorified Lord Shiva, and how great Lord Shiva was to be unaffected even in that situation, even though because it was not a wrong thing what Lord Shiva did. It is quite natural. Everybody knew that Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati, their husband and wife, and Charanas and Siddhas, they are also sitting in the assembly. They also did not feel anything wrong in that. And Chitraketu Maharaj, seeing this, he was wondered. He expressed his wonder. That's all. But he did not offend him. But we will see what is going to happen next. Last verse for today, verse number 9. I would request, who is next? Is it Divya Mataji? You are going to recite? Are you there, Mata? Okay. If not, can anybody else would like to volunteer? Archana
Shall I,
Mata?
Prabhuji?
Yeah, please.
Sri Sukha Uvacha Bhagavan api
I
tat
think
Shruत्वा. Yes, already
Prashanti
I read,
Mataji.
Prabhuji.
I think Archana Mata, she thought of she just
Okay,
unmuted, I
Prabhuji.
think.
Yes,
Okay, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna,
Archana
Prabhuji.
Mata,
Hare
please do it.
Krishna.
Please stand. Because
Hare
Prashanti
Krishna.
Mataji, you already got a chance, that's why. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Actually,
No
nobody
problem.
was saying that,
Yeah, yeah.
so I thought I could.
No problem, Mataji. Thank you for that. Archana Mataji, can you please recite?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Shri Sukha Uvacha Bhagavan api tat Shrutva Prahasyagada Dirnirpa Tusnim Bubu Babuva Sadasi Sab Yaschatad Anuvrataha. Translation. Sri Sukadev Goswami continued, My dear king, after hearing Chitraketu's statement, Lord Shiva, the most powerful personality whose knowledge is fathomless, simply smiled and remained silent, and all the members of assembly followed the Lord by not saying anything.
Purport?
Purport. Prabhuji, shall I read the purport also?
Yeah, yes, Mother. Please, yes, Mother. It's a little long, but we can finish. No problem. You please read, Mother. It's
Okay,
very
Prabhuji.
good.
Okay, Prabhuji. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Chitraketu's purpose in criticizing Lord Shiva is somewhat mysterious and cannot be understood by a common man. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura, however, has made the following observation. Lord Shiva, being the most exalted Vaishnava and one of the most powerful demigods, is able to do anything he desires. Although he was externally exhibiting the behavior of a common man and not following etiquette, such actions cannot diminish his exalted position. The difficulty is that a common man seeing Lord Shiva's behavior might follow his example, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 3.21, Yadyat acharati shreshta tattatev evat Tarojanah sayat pramanam gurute lokastat anuvartate. Whatever action a great man performs, the common men follow, and whatever standards he set by exemplary acts, all the worlds pursue. A common man might also criticize Lord Shiva, like Daksha, who suffered the consequence for his criticism. King Chitraketu desired that Lord Shiva sees this external behavior so that others might be saved from criticizing him and thus becoming offenders. If one thinks that Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the only perfect personality, whereas the demigods, even such demigods as Lord Shiva, are inclined to improper social affairs, he is an offender. Considering all this, King Chitraketu was somewhat harsh in his behavior with Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, who is always deep in knowledge, could understand Chitraketu's purpose, and therefore he was not at all angry. Rather, he simply smiled and remained silent. The members of the assembly surrounding Lord Shiva could also understand Chitraketu's purpose. Consequently, following the behavior of Lord Shiva, they did not protest. Instead, following their master, they remained silent. If the members of the assembly thought that Chitraketu had blasphemed Lord Shiva, they would certainly have left at once, blocking their ears with their hands. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mata. So, very beautiful purport by Srila Prabhupada. So, Srila Sukadeva Goswami is continuing the verse. He says, My dear king, after hearing Chitraketu's statement, he's speaking to Parishit Maharaj. After hearing Chitraketu's statement, Lord Shiva, the most powerful personality whose knowledge is fathomless, he is the greatest devotee, most powerful personality. He just simply smiled. So how was the response of Lord Shiva? He just simply smiled, and he did not speak a single word. He remained silent and he just smiled by hearing the comment of Chitraketu Maharaj. And similarly, all the members of the assembly also did not say anything. So here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying that the position of Lord Shiva, he is the most exalted Vaishnava and most powerful demigods. But externally, he behaved like a common man. But with that common man's action, externally, he may behave like a common man, but behave like a common man, but he is not an ordinary person. He is such an exalted demigod, most powerful demigod or most exalted demigod. And he still has that, even if he has behaved like this, his position has not diminished. He is still that he is such a great personality. That's what we said. External activities may not be, is not the litmus test to understand the heart of a devotee. We said this before also. So Lord Shiva, externally people may misunderstand him, but it is not the right, it is not correct, because Lord Shiva is such an exalted person. So that's what Srila Prabhupada says. People may follow, like Yadya Acharya Shrestha, maybe because Lord Shiva is a great personality, so common men may also follow this. So that is the only danger behind this, and nothing else. So that is the only danger. So Chitraketu Maharaj actually wanted to, he said, Srila Prabhupada is saying this wonderful point here. King Chitraketu desired that Lord Shiva sees this external behavior so that others might be saved from criticizing him or being offended. So others, Chitraketu Maharaj did not offend him, but seeing the nature of the normal people may offend Lord Shiva by criticizing him, because they may say in a wrong way, not like how Chitraketu Maharaj said. Okay, so he wanted to actually protect Lord Shiva. Who? Chitraketu Maharaj. So with that purpose only he commended, not for not offending him, not for offending or making fun of Lord Shiva, not like that. He desired that Lord Shiva should not be criticized by anybody by seeing this. Nobody should follow this. A normal man should not follow this, because if Lord Shiva is doing something, that's his Supreme Lord. He's the expansion of the Supreme Lord. No doubt about it. Supreme Lord Shiva is also an expansion. He's such an exalted personality. Lord Krishna also has done many pastimes. He has danced with gopis, rasa dance and all. The ordinary people cannot imitate it, isn't it? Likewise, Lord Shiva's activities cannot be imitated, but people may get imitated, taking this in a wrong way. So Chitraketu Maharaj, being a great friend or a well-wisher, he said he wanted to express this in a friendly, jovial way. He presented that. That's what happened actually. Because of that, so Lord Shiva understood the heart of Chitraketu Maharaj. Why he has said this? He understood what is the intention of Chitraketu Maharaj. Chitraketu Maharaj's intention was not to criticize him. So because of that, Lord Shiva did not speak a single word. He just smiled and he kept quiet. And similarly, the assembled people also, the Charanas, Siddhas who were sitting in that assembly, they also accepted that, because they did not speak any single word. They also accepted that, because Lord Shiva accepted it. Lord Shiva did not take it as an offense. So these members of the assembly also, they also did not take it as a blasphemy or offense. If they would have taken as an offense, they would have gone from there. Why? Because we should understand, hearing abarada, speaking abarad is a great offense. We know it's a very bad thing. We should not criticize anybody. We should not blaspheme any devotee or criticize any devotee. Aparada, it's a big aparada. So speaking is an aparada, or doing something against a devotee is also aparada. Also, hearing the criticism is also an aparada. So, great personalities, they will never ever give their ear to hear the criticism. They themselves will not do the criticism, and they will not allow their ears to hear criticism from others also. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita that we should not even listen to the criticism or offenses. Somebody is criticizing somebody, some other devotee, we should not hear that. If we hear that, we are also getting contaminated. Not only that, we are actually in that aparadha. That aparadhas, some effect also come to us if we even simply hearing that. So similarly, we can say here this. We can see here now these assembled Vidyadharas and Charanas. They did not leave the place. They did not close their ears by hearing this, because they took it. They did not take it as an offense. If it was an offense, then they would have left the assembly. Because that's what Shastra says. We should not hear any criticism. That too, criticizing such an exalted great Vaishnava like Shiva, they would have reacted or they would have left the place. They did not do that because they also understood that this is not an offense. Right? So, what is the take home for all of us? Take home for all of us is that we should not judge any devotee externally. So externally he may be like an ordinary person, but that is not the conclusion of everything. So we should not think that externally he is behaving like that. That means he is not a serious devotee. But we don't know his heart. So we cannot judge anybody by external appearance. Internally, how much advanced he is, we don't know. So that is the only way. Without understanding that, so better for all of us is to keep quiet. Do not have a wrong, fault-finding eyes on others. We should not criticize anybody. We should not find faults in anybody. We should always think that we are the lowest. This is the best way to protect ourselves, dear devotees. This is the only way to protect ourselves. Being humble, thinking that we are nothing. Then we will be protected. Otherwise, we may end up in doing aparadhas. So that's the first point we can learn from these sections what we have gone through today. Then what is the next lesson? Next lesson, what we have seen now, the final words, that not only speaking criticism or criticizing somebody, blaspheming somebody, even hearing criticism is also a very big aparadha. So we should not give our ears a chance to hear criticism. We should leave the assembly. We should leave the place. If somebody is criticizing somebody, we should not entertain that. We should leave the place and try to stay away from those people who are criticizing others. So criticism is a bad habit. So this is the biggest aparadha. Vaishnava aparadha is the biggest aparadha. We will lose our spiritual strength very fast if we do that. So it's a very dangerous thing. So we should stay away from aparadha. This particularly Vaishnava aparadha, criticizing bhakta ninda, very very danger. So not only speaking, not only doing something physically to the devotees, even hearing somebody is talking something to others, maybe somebody is blaspheming somebody, but we should not give our ears to hear that. That is the point, because that will contaminate us. So we should either run away from that place, and we should be careful in selecting association also, right? That we should always try to stay away from those people who has a tendency to criticize others. Better to stay away from them, because otherwise we will also imbibe those qualities, those wrong negative qualities, and we will also have a dosha drishti in others, and then we will end up in doing aparadhas, and we will slowly lose the taste in bhakti. So we have to be careful. So these are some of the thoughts, these are some of the take homes for all of us in these 9 verses which we discussed today. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for your patient listening and wonderful participation, and for reading the purports and slokas. I am very happy. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to do this service for my purification. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear devotees. If you have something to ask, you can ask for next 5 minutes. If not, if no questions, then we can end the session also. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. I think no more no questions, no issues, no problem. That's good. So I hope all of you have taken the important points of today's discussion, some take homes. So please try to meditate on these points what we discussed, and try to imbibe, in our life as much as possible. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the wonderful session, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Happy Onam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Prabhuji.
for all the wishes.
Oh, Hare
Thank you.
Krishna, Mataji.
Some question is there, what was the curse? Curse we will discuss in the next classes. There are more verses, no, in this session. I mean, in this chapter. So we will understand what is the curse, and we will, when we move forward. The next speaker will be continuing from where we stopped today. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So thank you, dear devotees. So I am going to end the meeting now. Thank you for your wonderful participation once again. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Prabhupada ki jai. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam